Hello everyone. Welcome to the Influential Life. I'm your host, Shadana Miranda, and on the Influential Life, we help women walk in their passion and purpose so that they experience a sense of self-fulfillment. And today we are going to be talking about getting through the grip of entrepreneurship. And we have a transformational coach in the house, and she's also a fitness guru, Miss Adrina. And so if you don't mind, go ahead and tell our viewers just a little bit about yourself.
Love to. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. Hi, everybody. Adrina Newman, a.k.a. Masterpiece. I have been a transformation coach for over 21 years now, blessed to do it. And why I say that is because I love to help people get their bodies right. Holistically, not just from the physical side, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You know what I'm saying? So what I do, I travel all over the world. I host fitness workshops. I host women empowerment events. I host just things that allow us to connect because we all go through things, right? And as women, we need to be able to relate to one another so that anytime we go through something, we can understand that we can surpass it and become better. It's all about becoming the best version of yourself these days, right?
That's what it's all about, becoming the best version of yourself. I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
So you've been a full-time entrepreneur for how long now?
21 wonderful years. They've been challenging, but 21 wonderful years.
So speaking of challenging, what has been some of the struggles of being a full-time entrepreneur?
Ooh, are we ready for this story, Jesus? Let's start with the financial side. When I first got started, I did not have the finances to start as an entrepreneur, but God put something in my spirit, and I knew my calling. I knew that I was supposed to help, especially women, get their bodies right. And so I talked to some friends, and I shared my desires. And they said, you know what, Adrina, you have given back so much, because I just like to do free things. They said, you know what, I'm going to invest in you. I'm going to give you some money, and I want you to go out there and get your certification. I started with group fitness through AFA, and then I went on and did personal training. And so with that, I started at 24-Hour Fitness, and they were a wonderful company to start and grow from, right? But I still knew that there was something inside that was like, you're not meant to work for somebody else. You're meant to have your own. And so I stepped out on faith, and I started doing exotic aerobics at Missouri City Community Center. And let me tell you what the funny thing is. The very first day that I had my grand opening, I had about 10 people come. But after that, for 3 months, nobody showed up. But you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that because I would pretend that I had a class. I would turn my camera on and say, ladies, thank you all for coming today. All right, let's get these squats. Ladies, I see you, sister. But they would never know there's nobody out there. But what I did do is I believed in myself.
You gotta believe in yourself.
You gotta believe in yourself.
True. You have to. Yes.
You do.
I love that. I love that. It's 2 points you made. You talked about having someone invest in you because they seen your potential and they seen what you was doing for the community. I actually have a story like that. I can relate. I started out as a fashion designer probably about 5 years ago, and it was tough for me to get started because of the finances. And everything costs. Fabric costs, attending trade shows, so having to travel, production, all of that costs. But I was working hard. I was educating myself. I was working in the industry. I was putting myself out there on social media. And one day my brother called me. He was like, I see you doing all of these things. And I've been praying. And he said, God put it on my heart to bless you. He said, I want you to invest in your sister. Aww. So he was able to invest some money in me, help me get my business off of the ground.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, so you, like you say, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep going and giving back. And then someone to see it.
That's the secret.
That's the secret.
Giving back.
Giving back.
Because I will tell you, I tell people all the time, don't let it be your credit and don't allow it to be your current finances to stop you from growing. Ask God to surround you with the right people to help you elevate in your life. And he will do it. You just have to really trust and believe in God's plan. That's the real key.
And that's true. And you also talked about you didn't see yourself working for someone 9 to 5. You see yourself as an employee. And that's another story that I can relate to. I remember my first job out of college, I started working for the city of Houston. It was a phenomenal job. Everyone would say, oh, you work for the city, you have all of these great benefits, which you do have. It's 9 to 5, it's steady. But I didn't like checking into nobody's clock. And I feel like God put it on my heart at that moment, you're going to be an employer, not an employee.
Yes.
Now, he'll give you the vision, but he won't release it or make it happen until years later.
Yeah.
So I had to work several years before I could actually try to become a full-time employee. So
I love it. And you know what? It's funny that you say that, because a lot of times people want that turnaround. They want that tomorrow. Adrina, I've been working on this for a week. I haven't gotten anything back. Baby, I've been doing this for 21 years. Okay? So I tell people all the time, anything worth having is worth working hard for.
you got to work hard for it.
There is no deadline. There is no, okay, it's going to happen at this time. Being an entrepreneur, you're working all the time. You're growing all the time. Things are changing all the time. And you have to be willing to be humble.
Be humble.
Always be humble and know that, okay, I want to be a student and I want to grow with the times. Because if you choose to say, you know what, I've been doing this a long time, I know everything, you're going to stay standard. Like, you're going to stay stuck. And you don't want to stay stuck.
You have to constantly educate yourself as an entrepreneur. You have to constantly get perfection in your field because things are constantly changing. Things are updating. And you have to keep up with the times.
Yeah.
And people who don't keep up with the times, they get left behind.
Unfortunately.
And this is one thing. I want to move on to the next question. But you talked about, God, what did you just mention? Because it made me think about it.
Which one?
Working a lot of hours as an entrepreneur.
Yes, honey. There is no time.
That is true.
Yeah.
But one thing I found is, because I work very hard, like every single day, and I actually work a full-time job now. Then I go home to my business, and then on the weekends I work my business. But when you're doing something you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like work. And a lot of people can't relate to that because you're constantly working. But if you're passionate about it,
You love it.
you love it.
Yeah. And you know, it's a borderline into becoming a workaholic.
It is.
Let me say
true.
that.
It's true.
And becoming a workaholic, there are pros to it and there are definitely cons.
I agree with that. I agree to that.
Right? So I will say this, in a relationship, in motherhood, in just trying to figure out the word balance. Isn't that the key word when you're becoming an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Is there such a thing called balance? And so when you're first getting started as an entrepreneur, I truly feel you have to bleed your work. You have to get to a point to where you're that household name in your city, in your area, in your state. When they say, hey, do you know a person that is let's say a contractor? Oh, it's so-and-so, off the rip, without you even being there. That's how hard you work. You gotta make sure that you're in social media, going to networking events, and still work on your craft, still educating yourself at the same time. When is the cutoff time?
That's true, balance. That's one thing I've learned. Like, you can work yourself to death, but you have to have balance. You have to make time for a social life.
You do.
It's important to your mental health.
It is, and it's a challenge.
It's
as
a
an
challenge.
entrepreneur, it is a challenge.
Because something always needs to be done.
Always,
Yeah.
always, and people need you. You know, I don't have any kids, and I'm not in a relationship, so I have had the leisure of being able to wake up whenever I want to and go to bed whenever I want to and go out to a networking event when I want to. But if I were in a relationship or had kids, that'd be a little bit different. Not a little bit, a lot. Because you have responsibilities,
That's
right?
true.
So it just depends on where you are in your life, what you choose to do. And if you're in a relationship, do you have a companion that desires you to be successful? Do they want to be your helpmate, your soulmate, in seeing that you are successful? Because you do have some relationships where they're like, babe, go do your thing, and then when you get back, make time for me. Or you have that person like, babe, you got an interview today? I'll take you to your interview. Babe, you have your microphone, you have your makeup, you have your bag. I got your bags packed in the car. Let's go.
Support system.
Yes.
It matters having a good support system. Okay. So let me get on to the next question.
Okay.
what have been some of the joys and fulfillment you felt as an entrepreneur?
Oh my goodness. You know, I'll say this. When you change somebody's life, I've had numerous people say, Adrina, I feel ugly. I haven't danced for my husband because I specialize in exotic aerobics, which is a class that helps women fulfill their sexiness through fitness and dance, right? I have a woman that says, Adrina, I've put on 100 pounds. I've had 3 kids. I don't feel that way anymore. I don't feel that powerful. And I'm like, baby, you got it in you.
You got it.
You got to dig deep, and you got to bring her back out. Don't lose her. They lose themselves.
Yeah.
And to be in a position where God allows me to transform their lives, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, is such a blessing. I've literally had somebody call me and tell me, Adrina, last night I was on the verge of killing myself.
Wow.
But it was something you said to me that made me realize I'm here for a purpose. That phone call changed my life. It's something where somebody says, Adrina, I haven't been able to see myself down here in years. But I've lost that tire, that extra tire. And now I can put back on clothes that I haven't worn since high school. I feel like I can be sexy again. You know, there's no amount of money that can change that. That fulfillment that you get from somebody saying, you helped me get there. I'm not a doctor, but I'm blessed to do what I do. And to be able to say, Adrina, you really helped that person out. I don't care how much money I make. It's not about the money, it's about the opportunity to change somebody's life.
That's what it's about.
That's what it's about for me.
And one thing I've been learning, like as a Christian, in trying to build a kingdom business, that's what they're calling, like a business for God. You can make $1 million. You can make millions and millions of dollars. But God don't want you to hold that money for yourself. It's about giving back through your business.
All the time.
You know, financially, spiritually, talking to people. It's always about giving back, you
All
know,
the
to
time.
the less fortunate.
That is the secret. People always say, what is the secret? Give back.
Give back.
Give back. People see it. God sees it. Give back. And when you give, don't give with the expectation.
Exactly. Don't give what they expect. When you don't give with expectation, so much comes to you.
Oh my goodness, honey.
So much money comes to you.
What? Give me an example. What came to you? You gave back. What did you get back?
Well, I will express in honesty. I started tithing. Someone told me the importance of tithing. I tithed growing up. My grandfather always made me put $1 in church because we used to get allowance. But as an adult, when I started working, my aunt said, Dana, you should really start giving 10% of your money. And when I started doing that, my life changed.
I know it did.
And things don't always come back to me in monetary form.
Say that, honey. Ooh.
But someone may bless me with a membership somewhere. Someone may bless me with dinner. I mean, it's so amazing. And another thing I've learned with people who say, well, I don't give my tithe. I don't want to give my money to the church. So one thing I realized, if you don't tithe, God is always going to get his money in terms of you may have a flat tire. Some maintenance may happen with your car where you need to get that fixed. So something is always going to happen, whereas you don't give that 10% to God, but he going to get it. It's going to come out of your pocket.
Always. Yes, I agree. Tithing is very important. Very, very important. And a lot of times people are like, but I just don't have it. Baby, I'm going to need you to tithe with faith.
Exactly.
Faith and manifestation. I really believe in manifestation.
I agree.
You really have to understand, speak into existence what you want,
So
believe it, write it down,
Just talking
pray about it, and work for it.
It worked for it.
It happens.
That's literally the secret formula. And I read the book, it was like a Laws of Attraction book. It's called The Secret.
Yes.
I read that book like a year ago. I haven't watched the movie, but that book just changed my perception on how I see things.
Mindset.
You know, to like manifesting things in my life. And I started like speaking things into existence with this is what I want, this is what I wanted to happen. I started writing it down and working for it, and it just started happening.
Yes, ma'am. Have you done a vision board this year?
I have.
Okay.
I do a vision board every quarter now.
All right. Well, come on here, sister. I love it. Do you see changes? Do you actually see those things come to fruition every quarter?
I see things coming to fruition, and it may not be how I envisioned it, but it comes into fruition. For example, I had on my vision board that I wanted to work from home.
Okay.
So during the pandemic, you know, we all had to stay home. We was on lockdown. And so I didn't work for myself. That's how I envisioned it, being a full-time entrepreneur, but I got to work home for my full-time job.
There you go.
So I was like, wow, this came into fruition. And then I'll just say one more thing I seen. After I read the Laws of Attraction, the secret book, I started putting those things into practice. And I manifested $750.
All right, honey. Yes, you better.
It was this course that I wanted to take. It was by this really popular influencer. She was on social media running ads and promoting it. I was like, I like this girl. I want to take this class. I said, I don't have the money. I put it on Instagram in my stories. I said, will someone be a blessing to me? This was like last Christmas. It was during the month of December. It's this course I want to take. It costs $750. I would love a sponsor. Be a blessing this holiday. I put it on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Within 24 hours, somebody was in my DM and said, I would love to sponsor you.
Wow.
Literally.
Wow.
So I was like, I know manifestation.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know that stuff is real.
And I bet it wasn't even a shock to you.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. You expected it, right?
I expected it.
Power of manifestation.
So power of manifestation, it really does happen. It really does happen. So let me see. What have been some of the joys? So how are you able to give back to society through your business? I think you kind of talked about this, but what are more things you're able to do?
Well, I do host free classes a lot of times for people because I too, at one time in my life, I desired to understand about health and fitness and just surrounding myself with positive energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would look for those free classes, and a lot of times I couldn't find them.
Mm-hmm.
I would have no money. I'm like, man, I just wish somebody would allow a free class. I just need to escape where I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I provide free classes for ladies. Sometimes I'll just do a pop-up. I'm like, hey, ladies, because I love positive energy. Whenever I bring these women together, it's something about locking arms and sharing stories and being able to be vulnerable and transparent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so through fitness, yes, we do the workout, and I push them. I'm like, listen, this is not just about this workout right now. This is about your life.
Mm-hmm.
If you can tell yourself, I can do it, give me 60 more seconds, and going in, imagine what you can truly do with your life. And you see a switch, that mindset where they're talking to themselves and they're pumping themselves up and they're like, you know what, Adrina, I could do it. I'm like, yes, you can. I could do it. And before you know it, they've gone way past what I've asked them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And in that instant, they realize, oh snap, I have it. I have it. Not only do I have it, I've been had it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just need that other person to tell you or remind you who you are. And I love helping women understand who you are and to value themselves. Mm-hmm. I do workshops where I host where those that are just getting into the business, helping them to become boss babes and helping them understand, hey, these are the basic steps
Mm-hmm.
to starting your business.
Mm-hmm.
Helping them understand it's not an easy walk in the park.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those days where you're crying, you're like, God, I don't know how this is going to happen. That's natural.
Mm-hmm.
That's natural. You'll get past that. And sometimes you go through things to grow through it
Mm-hmm.
and be a testimony to another queen that's going to experience the same thing.
I like you talking about go through it so that you can grow through it. And there's another quote that says like, grow where you're planted.
Yes.
Or blossom where you're planted. That's something that I remember. So it sounds to me like you're building community
Always.
around women.
Always. I feel like we are the seed.
We are.
I feel like women, we sometimes, and I'm going to be very honest, in the Black community,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we don't help each other enough.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a crab mentality. If we see one successful, oh, she thinks she all that. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because she stood tall, she walked in here with confidence. Why did you say that?
Mm-hmm.
Stop that. Sometimes when we're all doing the same thing, it could be 30,000 people, same job.
Exactly.
We say, I don't want to tell her what to do because she's going to follow me. Sweetheart,
It's room for us all.
there's room for us all. And let me tell you the biggest secret. There's only one you.
Exactly.
Nobody can do it
you.
or be you.
Yeah.
And when you understand how confident you are in your work and what you provide, you will not feel intimidated in who you are. You will not feel, I can't share this information. Why? Because you want to see another queen win. And that's what I address all my women with. You are a queen, and I want to see you win. Period.
Period.
Yeah,
I
period.
love that. It's
With the T.
with the T. Okay.
With the T. Yes, honey.
You want to see everybody.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? I mean, I've been at the losing spot. I know what it is to be on the ground and be feeling like I've been kicked in the stomach and feel less than, and somebody not say, hey, you're going to be worth it. I've had to crawl and figure it out and talk to myself in the mirror and say, you got this. Mm-hmm. So I want those people to understand, you fall, but baby, the goal is to get back up.
It's room at the top for us all.
It is.
And some people don't understand it.
They don't, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I think they're getting, I think the community is starting to come around. I've seen a movement within the past year, I would say.
With this situation, yes. I think we had to rely on each other.
Yeah.
We had to understand, okay, something's got to change.
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree with that, and I love it. It's beautiful. It's art. It really is art.
It really is art. It's like, it's sometimes tragedy has to happen for a movement or change to come about. You know what I mean? For positive change. And that's very unfortunate. It's like thinking of a woman who has a baby, labor pains, the pain of childbirth to birth out this beautiful baby, you know?
Right. Yeah, so. I agree. I mean, same thing like Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Look how we came together over that. You know, you're right, something tragic.
And like you were saying, Black Lives Matter, it was a movement. It's always been a movement, but it was a global movement. Like we've seen over 106. We seen people in Japan have a rally talking about Black Lives Matter. There were people in London. We was like, hi y'all, you know what I mean? But it was just amazing.
It was beautiful.
And I really seen people actually take a stand.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Not just people, but also companies try to give back to Black people and Black businesses. So
absolutely, a lot of change came from
that. So yes, unfortunately. So, but yeah. So, what piece of advice would you give someone who is transitioning into full-time entrepreneurship?
My biggest advice is never give up and to believe in yourself. You will have people that doubt you. Mm-hmm. You will have times where you doubt yourself. But you have to dig deep and understand God gave you the vision. Mm-hmm. You don't need anybody else's approval. Mm-hmm. What you need to understand is that vision is for you. Mm-hmm. It's going to take work.
It's going to take
a lot of blood, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears.
Mm-hmm.
But every ounce of work will be worth it in the end. I cannot tell you when the end is going to come, but what I can tell you is it will all be worth it. Period.
And walk by faith, and I would say go by the Spirit. Because truthfully, with this talk show, God gave me this vision 4 years ago. Nice. I had recently been let go from my job, and I was looking for more work, and He gave me the vision that you're going to own your own talk show. So I was trying to reach out to ABC and CBS to see if they were looking for a host for different shows. Didn't find none. Trying to do stuff locally, and nothing happened. Just kind of got discouraged. So had to go back to another job full time. And then finally that vision came into life this year, 4 years later in 2021.
Wow.
So it's amazing.
Well, congratulations to you, Queen.
Thank you so much. So, because sometimes, you know, God, He'll give you a vision, but He don't always make it happen right then and there. So that's you truly have to like walk by faith. And so So it's been so amazing having you. This has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you for sharing your story, and I'm sure you've inspired others. Thank you so much for tuning in and, you know, learning about the grit of entrepreneurship. This is part 3 of a 4-part series talking about her story. We're telling powerful stories of Black women during the month of Black History, which is February. And you just heard a powerful Black woman share her story about how she fought through the grit of full-time entrepreneurship and how she's still standing, looking wonderful as usual, honey.
Thank you, darling.
Okay, you want to stand up and give them a little
yes,
twirl?
Honey, let me show y'all what 41 is working with. Let me show y'all what 41. Yes, I said 41. I said 41. Hello,
Okay. So thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you next time, and we'll be back with another great episode. See you soon.
Bye.
Nowadays, we are busier than ever before. We are juggling family, work, a social life, and activism in our communities, all while trying to remember to practice self-love. Your style should reflect the dynamic woman that you are. Subscribe to The Influential Life for tips to making petite styles work, for every component of your life, as well as weekly inspiration to help you thrive in life, not just survive. For sponsorship opportunities or opportunities about how you can be a part of the show, please send an email to info@influentialpetite.com. That's info@influentialpetite.com. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.